Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A sad day in thoroughbred racing as the flags here at Aqueduct fly half-staff in remembrance of Alan Jerkins, the legendary trainer who passed away yesterday at the age of 85. There are all the riders and many of the members of the Naira family out for a moment of silence in his honor. He touched many lives, and he will be sorely missed. As I bring in my co-host, Maggie Wolfendale, I'm Richard Migliori. A kind of sad Aqueduct Insider day, Maggie.
It truly is. We lost one of the greats yesterday, Richie, but it's also slightly enlightening in the fact that we get to remember all the great things he did and just remember his legacy and how important he was to this game. I mean, I don't think he ever viewed himself as the giant as people kind of portrayed him as, but he truly was, and we learned so much from him.
Yeah, he touched so many lives on the racetrack in such a positive way. As we take a look back at a career timeline, his first official winner, Maggie, Populous, in 1950, but he actually had been training horses for about 5 years previous. They ran in his father's name, but he was training them. He upset Kelso and Secretariat collectively 5 times. Beat Secretariat with 2 different horses, obviously Eclipse Award-winning trainer. The youngest trainer up until that time to be elected into the Hall of Fame. Bill Mott surpassed that later on. Sky Beauty won the Triple Tiara, also his only Eclipse Award winner. And his last winner just recently, March 6th at Gulfstream Easement. But so many upsets, and I think that's one of the things that framed his career. As we're going to take a look back at a few of them. Here's Bo Purple beating the mighty Kelso back in the '62 Suburban.
Yeah, he was known for this, and Bo Purple put it on Kelso 3 times, and we'll watch it here, and just ran away from a horse who I highly regard as one of the greatest in history, but it kind of shows that the Chief was one of the greatest in history, too.
Well, absolutely. He would get horses ready, prepared to take on these big boys, and he always would say, don't be scared to take on one big horse. Don't shy away if your horse is doing good. And we just watched Handsome Boy run out of the picture on Buck Passer.
And I would think he would talk about watching the big horses, watching Secretariat, watching Buck Passer train, and he would, watch the routine every single day and make his horse do that much more so he would have the edge on them.
Yeah, and I think he knew when those horses weren't doing quite as well, which was the case going into the Whitney with Secretariat, who had been a little bit off, a little bit sick, and he knew Onion was doing good. Onion, a lot of people don't know, Maggie, won an allowance race and set the track record for 6.5 the Tuesday before the Saturday Whitney.
Yeah, well, that's how times were then, and I'm sure the Chief would still do that now. And he was always known for working horses. As you were saying, he would blow them out, then work them a mile, 3 days before he ran them, going 1.25 miles.
Yeah, sometimes even the morning of the race. And here in the Woodward Stakes, he beat Secretariat with Prove Out. And I think Secretariat didn't run his race in the Whitney. I believe he ran his race here. On the day, Prove Out was just a better horse. He ran 1.5 miles in 2:25 and change.
That's impressive here, Richie, and the Chief getting the best of Secretariat both times on muddy tracks. But that performance, training performance, definitely earned him the Eclipse and the Hall of Fame honor that year.
And now we'll take a look at Wagon Limit with Robbie Davis beating 2 very good horses, Gentleman and Skip Away, in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Let's listen in to Tom Durkin.
Gentleman in front, but he was softened up by Skip Away. And here comes Wagon Limit at 34-1. And Wagon Limit is going to do it. Wagon Limit, a stunning upset. Gentlemen, weakened from that enervating speed duel with Skip Away.
Maggie, looking at Wagon Limit win there, so many stories have come out over the last few days, and Chuck Simon, who's a trainer now himself, worked for Alan during that period of time, and he was saying how Alan was down on himself because he forgot to enter Wagon Limit in an allowance race as a prep for the Jockey Club Gold Cup, but then he worked him a good mile in 1:38, and he felt very confident going into the race.
Well, after the race, Robbie Davis had said that the one thing that was better than anything in the world was making the Chief happy, and he did that day because he came into the paddock and said, well, let's just get a check, Chief, and he said, yep, that sounds good. And when he was passing horses and picking them off one by one, he was so elated that he was going to be able to win the race for him.
Well, we talked so much about his upsets. A filly that he trained to a championship, actually I believe 2 championships, there was a lot of pressure on because she was the favorite. Here is Sky Beauty winning the Alabama after sweeping the Tripitiera, which used to comprise the Acorn, the Mother Goose, and the Coaching Club.
She's winning 4 grade 1s in a row here. She was absolutely tremendous for the Chief. And, I mean, she powers away from this field, and there's a guy back there in pink who's trying to do everything he can to beat her, but just can't.
Yeah, I actually rode that filly, and she was lugging in with me, and I thought I had a shot at her turning for home, but she stepped away. And here she is clinching her Eclipse year in '94 in the Ruffian with a lot of weight. Why don't we listen in again to the other legend, Tom Durkin?
He's getting it. Sky Beauty in front by a length with a furlong to run. On the outside, Dispute will offer a late challenge for Sky Beauty. Sky Beauty digging down. Dispute, a final try, but she cannot get by the invincible queen of Belmont Park. Sky Beauty, perfect in victory.
Maggie, that was impressive, but one of the most impressive things about that particular race, if I'm not mistaken, Sky Beauty carried 130 pounds that day to victory.
And talk about really, truly, you know, going back to handicap races and trying to make the weights to even out the competition, but she's just too good for her foes. You could kind of tell watching her, Richie, how big and powerful she was as a race mare.
Yeah, she was a big, strong filly, and a lot of Allen's good horses were big, strong, robust horses. He put a lot of work into them, a lot of miles into him. But, you know, he always had a lot of good people around him and a lot of young people that he helped along the way. And I think this is the legacy that's going to carry on. Obviously, we see his son Jimmy Jerkins, a very accomplished trainer. Also, Steve Jerkins, another very good trainer. His grandson, David Jerkins, who's the racing secretary at Del Mar now, Leah Giamardi, Mike Hushin, Tom Bush. And I know that you worked a great deal with Leah. Did you see a lot of Allen's influence in Leah's training?
Completely. Leah always said that, especially when she won the Spinaway a couple years ago with Sweet Reason, that she hoped the Chief was watching. Of course he was. And that her proudest moment was getting that call from him and saying, "Good job, kid." And really, truly, she infused the notion that the Chief always held, that every horse is an individual. You have to get inside their head and learn about them and tailor their training regime to them, and that's how you make superstars.
Well, and it just seems like Mike Hushin and Leah both took a page out of Allen's book, working horses, what they termed the Jerkins miles, first half in 52, second half in about 50 for a mile and 42. But his help wasn't just limited to trainers. He also helped a lot of jockeys along the way, myself included. But let's take a look at Noel Winter here, winning the Riva Ridge on Put It Back, and I think we have this call as well.
And we'll check it out here, but a great, I'm sure he worked with this horse in the morning, so a very happy win.
Still clear by 3. Flamethrower and Bailey are getting closer, but they're at the 16th pole. It's still Put It Back by a length, 3/4 of a length. Here comes Flamethrower. Here's the wire. Put It Back. Saved by the wire. He wins it by a head over Flamethrower.
Well, Maggie, we saw Noel Winter get the money there. He also put Ray Ganpath on Society Selection, and they beat Jerry Bailey in the Riva Ridge. They're going to do it again, but coming from behind him this time. I think they were a thorn in Jerry Bailey's side.
Yes, they were, as we'll hear Tom Durkin calling Society Selection, getting up in the very last shadow of the wire.
Society Selection and Ray Ganpath have won the Grade 1 Frisette.
You know, he helped so many people on the backstretch, trainers, jockeys. I also like the fact that he gave the little guys chances, and they worked hard with these horses. So it wasn't just charity. It was the fact that he saw a connection between the people and the horses.
Even Andrew Lakeman, who we see has a couple of horses, a training career now, you know, prior to being hurt. As a jockey, he rode for the Chief as well, and he would talk about, or has talked about, what the Chief taught him and how you do things just differently, like I was saying, for each horse.
Absolutely. There wasn't a cookie-cutter way of doing it. He would feed the horses himself every night. He touched so many of us in such a positive way. And I know Ralph Thoreau was somebody that had a very close relationship with Allen. Let's hear what Ralph had to say about the Chief.
Those of us that knew the Chief were fortunate enough to be in his adopted family. We'll never forget him and are better for having known him. He took pride in what his pupils and his family accomplished. No one ever did it better than him. No one ever could. A friend of mine and I were talking one day, and we both looked at each other and said that 100 years from now, he'll still be the chief. We miss you, Alan. Rest in peace, and thanks for the memories.
Thank you, New York Racing Association official Ralph Theroux. We'll be back with more Insider in a moment. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Maggie, a sad day in New York racing, but one thing about the racetrack, the racing continues, and we've got to carry on with some current business. We had a lot of racing to get to, and I guess we're going to start with race 2. We'll check it out. We've got some maidens going 2 turns on the inner track.
And they're off. Chase the Love goes out for the lead. Get Out of Town from the extreme outside now moves up, and Cosmo Blue gains down at the rail. So 3 of them are right together racing into the clubhouse turn. And from an inside post, Cosmo Blue has come away with the lead. Cosmo Blue by a length. Chase the Love is chasing in second, with Get Out of Town on the outside in third. Then a break of almost 3 to Special Ops next in fourth. Another 3 to Jeremy Song, who's running in fifth. At the back are the entry maids Bred to Boss and Tis Time to Shake. The quarter, 23 3/5 seconds. Cosmo Blue is the leader here by a little more than a length, with Chase the Love remaining in second. Special Ops now gains ground and moves up to third. Get Out of Town is now back in fourth. Farther back, it's Bred to Boss in fifth, followed by Jeremy Song, and 'Tis Time to Shake is the trailer, and the half was running 48 seconds. Cosmo Blue, the leader as they round the far turn. Cosmo Blue by a length and a half. Special Ops continues to move up on the outside, and Special Ops is going up to challenge Cosmo Blue. Special Ops on the outside. Cosmo Blue down at the rail. Chase the Love is running in third, and Bred to Boss off the turn into the stretch. Special Ops is the leader. Bred to Boss moves up on the outside. It is Special Ops trying to hold off Bred to Boss. It's Special Ops by 2. Bred to Boss in second. Then Cosmo Blue and Chase the Love. Special Ops by 3.5 lengths as they come down for the finish. And it will be Special Ops. Bred to Boss was second, then Cosmo Blue, and 'Tis Time to Shake.
Maggie, we haven't seen Christophe Clement run many horses on the inner track over the years. This year, this was his 9th start on the inner track, his 3rd win. Pretty impressive performance.
Yeah, I agree. This horse put it all together. He stepped back up in class to the maiden special weight ranks after a good second in the maiden 40, which turned out to be a productive and fast race. And you know it's always spring, or at least about to be spring, when you start seeing the Christophe Clement horses come back up and win, as they tend to do.
I know when I was riding, it was always an exciting time of year when the outfits that spent the winter in Florida started shipping up, because the horses were all live, fresh, and ready to roll. And
that's true. It really does pay off. I mean, you've got to give credit to these New York trainers who train their horses here throughout the winter, because it is tough. But those horses down there, it makes a difference when they can winter, kind of relax, especially Christophe's, who are training at pace, and as well as Bill Mott and Shug McGahee.
Yep, always looking for that fresh face this time of year. We're going to head right on now to race 7, back on the inner track, and John Imbrial has the call.
And they're off, and a hesitant start for number 5, Get Gorgeous. Sharifa is out for the early lead, with Prairie Stone running in second and Kate is a 10 in third. In between horses, Piccolo Flats and Get Gorgeous on the outside. Into the clubhouse turn, and it's Sharifa showing the way here by 2 lengths. Prairie Stone is second by a length and a half, and Kate is a 10 is down at the rail in third. Get Gorgeous moves up on the outside, and Piccolo Flats is now the trailer in fifth. The quarter, 24 seconds. They're on the back stretch. And it is Sharifa leading here by 2. Prairie Stone chasing in second. It's almost 3 lengths to Get Gorgeous in third. Kate is a 10. And Piccolo Flats at the back. Sharifa has opened up now. Sharifa's in front by almost 4. Prairie Stone continues to run along in second. Now Piccolo Flats makes a move up on the outside to take third. Kate is a 10, back and forth, and Get Gorgeous back in fifth. The half mile in 48 seconds. Sharifa with the lead around the turn. Sharifa's in front by 6 lengths. Prairie Stone is in second. And then it's Piccolo Flats in third. All chasing Sharifa, who's got the lead as they come for the quarter pole. Sharifa by 6. Piccolo Flats on the inside of Prairie Stone. 3/4 in 1:13. It is Sharifa, and she's looking to go wire to wire here. Sharifa by 7 lengths. Then Piccolo Flats, Prairie Stone, and Kate is a 10. Sharifa has the lead, been in front right from the start, and she is going to take this field wire to wire. And she won in a big way. Kate is a 10, comes up to get second. Then Piccolo.
Maggie, Sharifa turned out to be a really astute claim as she runs out of the picture here, beating on a nice group of New York-bred fillies.
Yeah, a group that has gotten better, well, just like she has, and she really got better today. And a great claim by Linda Rice, picking up this filly for the 16,000, several back. And the owner, Antonino Muccio, he's gotten lucky with some of his claims as well. I mean, Palace obviously is the first name that comes to mind, but he had 2 winners on the card today. And talk about the second place finisher. I know it was a long way back, but Kate is a 10 has really turned her life around, especially moving back to the inner track. She's run good race after good race this winter. So some good New York bred fillies showing their stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Piccolo Flats was third, a neighbor of mine, John Thorne, over at Thorndale Farm up in Millbrook. So nice to see those fillies run well. And if people don't forget, Kate is a 10's a filly that jumped that shadow at Belmont Park.
One of our top performances of Belmont in 2014.
Absolutely. Got a lot of height on that one. Well, we got to get to races 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. John Imbrial will take you through the Fast 6. That doesn't rhyme. No, but we'll go with it.
Built a big lead here. Liberty Fuse in front by 7 or 8 lengths. Bet You Can't Find Me. On the outside is Wisdom of Oz, and Supser is down towards the rail. Easy Passer is 5th. Liberty Fuse all by herself. And she's going to win the opener by better than 10 lengths. Liberty Fuse, much the best. Wisdom of Oz was second. Bet You Can't Find Me finished third. It's a 1/4 mile to the finish. Billy pays the bills. Here's Super Nicky on the outside. Billy pays the bills, holding off. Super Nicky, in spite of it all, is now gaining ground and gaining ground quickly towards the inside. As Imposing Figure moves up on the outside, but in spite of it all has come away with the lead. Here comes Imposing Figure. In spite of it all, Imposing Figure, in spite of it all, who drifted out in the stretch, gets to the wire first. Imposing Figure was second, Photo for third. Just in behind is Empower. 3/4 in 1:16 and 2. There's room now for Empower, and here he comes. And Empower now takes the lead from Primetime City. Empower clear by 2. Primetime City is second. Farther back, Sunrise Lover moves up on the outside into third. It's Empower at 1-5. Primetime City was second. Then Sunrise Lover and Catman Fu. And it is a blooper in front. My Eastern Beauty is now back running in second, 5 or 6 lengths to a single malt female and Arc de Nua, and then Shine on Erin. Blooper, all business today. And she's going to break her maiden here, going away at the end. Blooper, much the best. The odds-on favorite, 2-5. My Eastern Beauty will complete the exacta. Single malt female was third, Arc de Nua fourth. For to catch with a 1/4 mile to the finish. Rockford in front and clear now. Clear by almost 4. Rapdoro giving chase in second. It's Rockford in front. The lead's down to 2.5 lengths. Rapdoro in second. Awesome Heart at the rail in third. Now a 16th out. Here comes Rapdoro on the outside of Rockford. It's Rockford and Rapdoro. Rapdoro and Rockford. Rockford by a head. Rapdoro was second. And Awesome Heart finished third. Third, 3/4, 1:15 and 2. The field is in the stretch, and it is Third Frontier in front with Ziggy Moondoes back running in second, and then it's American Hero, followed by Fictional Character. Third Frontier draws away in the stretch. Third Frontier to take the finale here. Jose Ortiz sweeps the late double. Looked like fictional character got up for second over Ziggy Moondust. American Hero was fourth.
Well, Maggie, I wasn't too swift on the uptake, but that was the scintillating 6. I thought
go.
there were 5, so I was going to say
now.
fast 5, but it took me a little bit. I caught up. But a lot of action up in the stewards booth today, and we saw a disqualification in race 6.
Yeah, we saw a lot of activity in the stewards booth today, as we will check out the DQ here in race 6. It was kind of a ding-dong battle between Rapdoro and the long shot Rockford. Rockford ran a valiant race here, but as you were saying, it's almost like the contact kind of kept him going. But you can't do that, let's face it. So Angel Arroyo taken down and Jeremy Rose put up, as we saw the contact right there.
There was contact. I do think Rockford was pulling up, and when he felt the other horse's presence, he went on. Now, he did come out and brush him, but I think the thing everybody wants is consistency, and I think we've seen a lack of that, considering there was another incident earlier in the day where a horse actually came out further. Now, the margin of victory was a little bit more, and maybe they didn't feel like it affected the outcome, but don't you think that's what people want to see?
Yes.
Consistency.
We beg for consistency here at the track, especially. And going back to that race, the third, it was so dramatic as well, as the one horse was on the rail and drifted out 6 pass. It wasn't like they were running together. It was fairly visible and dramatic even on the pan shot. So the fact that that horse didn't come down and the other one did, it leaves a huge margin for error, and a lot of people scratching their heads.
Well, it's something that the riders have to consider. They better keep them straight, because you never know which way it may go. And speaking of riders, Jose Ortiz with a good day. Put a little more space between him and his brother Irad, Manny Franco, Angel Cruz, Junior Alvarado. A good young colony, Maggie.
Yeah, they're actually getting more and more spaced out. But as you said, they are young, and really the future is so bright for them. So it's exciting to see them all do well.
As we head over to the trainers' standings, Linda Rice, a couple winners today, cut into that margin of David Jacobson's, and Gary Gullo continues that white hot pace.
Yeah, hitting at around 30%. He's having the Aqueduct winter of his life, I'd say.
Absolutely. And the owner standings, David Jacobson not only leads the trainers, but the owners, the Ripoli stable, having a good meeting and drawing away. They're kind of moving their horses around a bit.
Yeah, they said they're down to 4 horses with David Jacobson, and that'll be it, and most of them going to Abigail Atsit.
Well, somebody's lost, somebody else's gained,
Sure.
And the same thing could be said at the claim box as well. Somebody loses one, horse has dinner at somebody else's barn. We've got a 5-way shake in race 3 on Flag on the Play, and a 2-way shake for Empower, who I thought looked pretty good.
Yeah, he doesn't like to lower his head, but he does get the job done. And Linda losing both of those horses today. And interesting, Jenna Antonucci claims her old horse back, Wisdom of Oz.
So a lot of action at the claim box, and we still got a lot of action still to come. One more segment of Aqueduct Insider in a moment. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Maggie, it's a time to look forward to tomorrow's 7th race, a good field of New York-bred fillies and the returning Wonder Gal, who we're watching in the Breeders' Cup.
She ran a great race this day as Take Charge Brandy upset the field, but then went on to do very good things in the latter half of her 2-year-old season. And Wonder Gal, we see her wide, we see her running hard the entire way. And, I mean, she was really close, within a length of Take Charge Brandy. And this is going to be, obviously, the easiest spot that she is running. I mean, since breaking her maiden in a New York-bred stake race, first time out by 14 lengths, she's done nothing but running grade 1. So this is class relief at its utmost.
Well, I think it's interesting, too, though. She's running into another New York-bred filly that's bred to go a little bit further, but was impressive breaking a maiden going 5.5 in Saratoga. We're talking about Bar of Gold.
Yeah, we'll see her down on the inside with the infamous Chester and Mary Broman colors for trainer John Kimmel. Now, she's been off since this race, so you don't know what's kept her away. That is one thing to be a bit leery of, but she was extremely professional in her debut, broke slowly, circled the field, ducked back inside, and held off a late charge by the second-place finisher.
And then on to a filly that's got a little more recent form, the 5, Sonora, although well beaten in the Franklin Square.
Yeah, I know that was a disappointing effort. Maybe she needed the race after making her 3-year-old debut here, but her first 2 were very good, so if she can get back to that, she's a definite contender tomorrow.
Well, it's an interesting race. The return of a filly that looks like she's on to bigger and better things, hopefully, with Wonder Gal and Leah Giamardi, somebody that you have a relationship with, and an Alan Jerkins alum.
Yeah, and Wonder Gal has been training absolutely beautifully over the Belmont training track. And so we'll see. Does she need a race? Probably not, but a guy who never needs a race is Andy Serling.
Yeah, let's hear from Andy. As we don't have our paddock insider, she's here on the set. Let's go to our handicapper insider.
I'm all about race 5 on Friday's card. Now, we are expecting some possible snow or rains. The track could be a little bit off, but I'm not worried about that. I like the basketball player, Fat Lever. I like the horse, Flat Lever, in race 5. This is a Trips and Traps horse, actually. Been waiting for this horse to come back. I think he's an older horse running against some younger horses in this race. And, you know, us old guys, we're always rooting for the old guys. But more importantly, this is a horse for trainer Mike Hushin that really had a trip last time. He was caught behind horses, couldn't find a seam to run through, and had to duck towards the inside. And this was a track, the farther away from the rail you could get, the better off you were. And Flat Lever not only had traffic, but he was significantly forced to the worst part of the racetrack where he could not gain any ground his lax start, coming off a bit of a layoff, but I'm hoping in the 5th race. It's all about number 8, Flat Lever, as we head back to the studio.
Well, thank you, Andy, for that pick, that selection. We want to say thank you for joining us tonight. For Maggie Wolfendale, I'm Richard Migliori. As we leave you, one more look at the legendary Hall of Famer, Alan Jerkins.
Secretariat on the rail, stride for stride, head and head, and down the stretch they come. Onion on the outside, Secretariat on the rail. An eighth of a mile to the finish. The leaders head and head, stride for stride. Secretariat and Onion. Onion has the lead by a head. Secretariat on the inside, past the 16th ball. It's Onion in front by a head. On the inside, Secretariat.
As they come to the 8th pole, Deputy Jane West running a brave race today. Sky Beauty is brave as well, and she's in front. It is Sky Beauty, but here comes Future Pretense closing hard, and Silky Feather is there, and Fortunate Fate, and Sky Beauty is the leader with Future Pretense, and Sky Beauty wins the Alabama by a length. Core kicking in late. Agave Kiss starting to wilt. Judy the Beauty is coming, and so too is Emma's Encore. It's Judy the Beauty and Emma's Encore on the wire. Too close to call.